Hey guys, welcome back to Wanderlusting Lawyer. Today I have for you the last installment from my recent collaboration with Jeremiah from Camino Guide and Nadine from Nadine Walks, where we sat down for close to 2 hours and just talked about all things Camino. They're really experienced Camino veterans, and it was just such a fun time to just chat about our favorite thing. So today, in the conclusion of the 2-hour series, we are discussing things that we wish we had brought on our Camino and things that we brought that we never ended up using. So obviously this is trial and error. It depends on the person. I never use a spork, for example. Other people who buy yogurt every day will. It's really just think about kind of what your day might be like, and knowing that you're going to live and learn with every Camino. You'll figure out things you wish you had and things that were a little bit extra and that you never ended up using. So we hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you guys at the end of the conversation.
I was thinking, I know we've been talking for a long time. This is great. I could talk forever and ever, but I was thinking maybe some good practical advice or information we could give is like, what's maybe one or two things that you wish you had brought that you didn't bring, and then the opposite, what's something that you brought that you never ended up using?
Yeah, so I can start us off. I just did very recently a video about this on my YouTube channel, so I won't go into too much detail. You can check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But I packed.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
That's right.
So I packed really light for my first Camino, and in subsequent Caminos, I've actually like added on weight to my pack. This has been a thing with me forever. I'm an underpacker. Like whenever I travel, I always take too little. I don't know what that is about me. It was not a bad thing on the Camino. If anything, it helped make that first Camino like a much easier physical experience for me because I had a really light pack. But there were several things that I didn't bring along that I picked up along the way. So I didn't bring shampoo with me. I had read that you can just take a bar of soap and use it to wash your body and your clothes and your hair. And the hair thing didn't work for me. my scalp,
Do you have a picture of your hair when it was washed with soap?
It felt dry and brittle, and it just was uncomfortable. So I remember it was one of my favorite memories. And speaking of like families on the Camino, I met this teenage boy who was walking with his mom, and I had like just mentioned I wasn't walking with shampoo and I needed to find some, and he like went into his mom's stash and her like toiletry kits, and he like brought me some of her shampoo. He's like, "Here, take this," which was so
Your Camino angel.
It was yeah. My first Camino angel, the boy who brought me shampoo
from his mom's stash.
From his mom's stash.
Sounds like a Harry Potter book.
I know it does. But then, of course, shampoo, like little toiletries you can find, especially, I mean, you know, the Camino runs through so many villages and towns, but also, especially the Camino Frances, there are in some shops like sections of stuff that pilgrims will need. So little travel size type stuff. So that kind of thing, you know, even if you do kind of underpack, but you realize like, oh, I ran out of like pain medication, or I don't have, too many blister supplies. Like, it's okay. You can get that on the way. So I think the shampoo was a big one for me. And then I also packed really light with my clothing. I just brought like 2 different hiking outfits, and I just wore those like around the clock. So I didn't have a separate outfit for the evening or to sleep in. And that also for me got uncomfortable pretty quickly. It was doable. Like, I think for the first couple weeks on my Camino, I just slept in my hiking clothes, but I did pick up a separate t-shirt and like a light pair of pants as I walked along the way. And every Camino since, I have always taken something to change into at night. So that some of that's just preference, right? I know some pilgrims, they don't need that. They'll just wear their hiking clothes. It's totally fine. But I think for me, that was just for comfort level. All of that's vanity, right? The shampoo, the like comfortable clothes. But sometimes that stuff, right? Like some pilgrims will talk about bringing a luxury item, and there's debate about all of that, right? Like unnecessary weight. But I do think if you're kind of willing to shoulder it and it's not too much, I think sometimes those items from home, those creature comforts, if it's, like a Kindle like reader so that you can read your books, I think if it's important to you, if it's going to make your experience better, go for it and bring it. Yeah. So what's stuff that the two of you didn't bring but wish you had.
I just want to point out before we get into that, Nadine, the fact that you referred to things like shampoo as a luxury item is an indication like that you've already bought into this whole thing, right? Like, because there are folks, I mean, I remember telling my students, oh no, you shouldn't bring all those cosmetics and stuff. And they're like, how can I do that? You know, it just, but once you're bought in, you're like, hey, having shampoo is like luxury.
It's like, oh, it's so true.
For me, the thing that I wish I had left home, or I guess the thing that I'm glad that I brought, or wish I would have brought better even, is specific hygiene products that you do. Like, for example, I hate every deodorant I've ever bought in any country in Europe. I don't know what it is that
they don't work.
They're terrible.
No.
Their deodorants are terrible. So I always bring the large deodorant, brand new ones, so that I know it's going to last through the entire trip.
Yeah.
Because I hate every one that they have. But there are other hygiene products like that. Like I tell the women, like, make sure that you bring your feminine products if you care, because you're only going to have one product on the shelf, and that's the one that you're going to use. If that matters to you, make sure you bring what you need. So I think oftentimes those kind of hygiene products that we have specific ones, I only like this flavor of toothpaste or whatever, then I tell people just make sure that you have as much as you need of it, because you're not going to find any specific choice in those areas. But for the most part, I'm also really a light packer. It's easy for me to pack light, because when I was in the Marine Corps, I knew that if I had a lot of weight, I was going to die out there, you know, and so not physically die, I was going to be miserable. And so I just had gotten used to packing light. But then actually, I think when I started training for the Appalachian Trail last year and so on, and recognizing that 32 and 34 pound packs is pretty normal, and recognizing then even that actually I was probably carrying 30 and 40 and 50 pounds in the Marine Corps. Like, so for me now that I've kind of reconciled with that, even though I still tell people on the channel, pare down, get it light, it's going to make a difference. It'll change your whole Camino. I personally have stopped following that rule. So I've got a drone and a GoPro and a battery pack.
Right.
And, I've got like all of these three outfits of clothing, whatever. But I also don't have a lot, like I don't carry rain gear usually. And at least if it's going to be mostly warm, I don't bring rain gear, So there's some items that I'm leaving home, but then I'm packing a bunch of just extras that most people don't even think about as part of I'm not trying to decide whether I'm going to bring this super long selfie stick that weighs almost a full pound, but it's like, it's part of my camera gear that I can like have a 17-foot long selfie stick.
Wow. I say bring it.
You say bring it?
Yeah.
It's worth
both
the pound.
For bringing it.
So I'm the opposite of you, Nadine. I'm like, definitely, I can't even say overpacker, because I use almost every single thing that I bring. I think I just have, like, I like to have more clothes. I like to have, like, definitely an extra outfit for the night. Like, I like to have little super lightweight pajamas, things like that. It's just like what makes me comfortable. So I'm probably the only pilgrim that's like, well, maybe you, but you started so light. I like pick up things as I go. Like on the Aragonés, I just was walking around. I needed a little microfiber towel, and they had like a cute bikini that I was like, I have to get it. I love this bikini. It's in Spain. I mean, so like I'll add stuff as I go, but it's all about knowing like your strength too, right?
Yeah.
So I know for me, the first couple of days of my walk, and probably because my pack is a little bit heavier, my collarbones get extremely sore. So, but I don't know if you guys have ever surfed. It's like when your ribs get really sore after the first day, and then by a day or two later, they've developed like almost like a fatty tissue protection, and so it stops hurting. But those days I'm like kind of adjusting my straps and everything like that. But that's my problem, is like, because I use trail runners, but I bring Keens. Keens are heavy. But what's worse, having a little bit extra weight or not having hiking sandals for when my feet need a break from the shoes? So for me, but I have both times the first time I brought my Nook, so like a Kindle, and the second time I brought my tablet. I basically never used either of them. The Nook was because on the front face, I was just with people all the time
Yeah.
talking. So I never had time to read or like made time to read because I was so happy with other people. And then with my tablet, I found that like the Wi-Fi was often so bad, and then my pictures were on my phone. So it didn't really speed. I'm not going to email myself the pictures and then upload. So I'll definitely be leaving those home next time. I never used a spork. I brought a spork, but I know some people do because they like to get yogurt and things in grocery stores. So it's just like learning definitely from the first one. I'm more of like a give me all the pastries in the cafe kind of person. I regretted not having bug spray on my first Camino because the mosquitoes were terrible.
Really?
I got lit up.
Really?
They were horrible. In Puente La Reina in like late June. I don't know if it was like I've never really noticed many mosquitoes, but it was terrible that time. So last time I actually found like a citronella bracelet, and I either I wore one and I put one on my pack. Like so, I just put on a loop on the outside, so lightweight. That was great. And then also another. This is kind of luxury, but everyone else should thank me for this. I brought a little spray bottle of Febreze and I spray my pack. Because, like I mentioned before, I'm the sweatiest human being ever. My pack, even with its trampoline back, it's like, it's just sweaty all the time. So I just give it a nice spray, keeps it smelling fresh. I think everyone is happy about that. But yeah, I'm still looking for ways. So I buck the trend always. I'm actually looking, I love my pack. It's a 36 liter pack from Marmot. I'm actually looking to maybe go get a bigger pack, not to bring more, but just to like have more space, like make packing at the end of it, like every morning easier. But I have issues with like hip belts on most packs. So yeah, I think I'd probably leave electronics home next time, except for my phone. Because even if I want to read a book, you can put them on your phone now with the Kindle app. So that for me was like a big realization. And it's also just something less to worry about potentially like walking away, right? I'm not saying getting stolen, but just walking away. And I never had problems with that. But yes, I think I have videos too about different things that I bring and whatever. But it's each time you kind of change it up a little bit, right? For me, it's something that adds weight is I wear daily contacts. So especially when I was doing the francais, that's like 35 days of contacts that I had. You know, as women, we need different things than guys do. So it's just, I think the 10% rule is good, but it's all about you. And I had a chance to actually, I can't say I was somebody's Camino angel, but I had a chance to help people when they didn't have, like I had 2 poles, I could loan one out, or I had extra bandages or this or that. And so I like that. I appreciate having what I need, but also knowing I can help others if they need it too. So
Speaking of, one of the things that I bring that I actually almost never use myself is a little travel hair dryer.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I don't have any hair to dry.
For your shoes.
I mostly just give it away to people because most of the women don't have it, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, I have a hair dryer." And the other thing is, if I wanted it for an emergency to dry my boots, then I could dry my shoes. That's actually why I originally started bringing it, was to dry my shoes. And then I'm like, actually, all I have to do is go set it in the bathroom, and it gets used for an hour straight. You know, so yeah, little tiny.
Like dating tips for the Camino, gentlemen. Bring a travel size hair dryer. The ladies,
it's like a pickup tool.
Yeah, exactly. We might have something here, guys.
That is hilarious, Jeremiah.
That's
wow.
funny.
I guess they can be pretty small. It's a fold up.
It's pretty lightweight. It's very small.
Yeah.
No, for the shoes though, that's a great idea. And I sometimes wonder how it works. I feel like if you're walking a winter or a spring Camino and it's cold and rainy, I personally would probably always try to stay places that have a washer and a dryer because the days are so short. There's not a lot of sunlight to dry your clothes. And like, that's when clothes really start to get stinky, right? If they can't get dried.
It's the shoes too. It's always the day after the rain that you get the blisters because now they're damp and you can't control the moisture at that point. But
well, there you have it. That's what we wish we'd brought and what we wish we hadn't. So if you enjoyed this, please give us a like and leave a comment below, because we're going to be doing another collaboration and we have so many more things to talk about, but it would be really fun if we had y'all's input on things that you want to hear us discuss as a group. So yeah, go ahead and leave that comment below, and hopefully in the coming weeks and months, we'll have some more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out Jeremiah and Nadine. All right, take care, guys. See you soon. Buen camino.